want to start off just giving a simple shout out. I just want to start off by giving God a simple shout out. Sometimes every now and then we just seem to take God's grace and mercy for granted. And I just want to stand here boldly and give God a shout out. For God being such a good and wonderful and on time God. Yesterday, me and my wife, we spoke to Sister Fletcher. And Sister Fletcher gave me some encouraging words. She shared with me that a doctor told her that she would never walk. Then she shared with me that she was able to walk for the first time. Or it reminds me of a text in Matthew chapter 19, verse number 26. Jesus said, with man it's impossible, but with God all things are possible. So while Sister Fletcher was sharing these encouraging words to me in the midst of her storm, it reminded me of a story, Brother David. The relationship between a father and his son. His son had a problem with his mouth. He had a cussing problem. And just follow me. And he comes to his father and he said, Father, I have this problem. I just can't stop cussing. So his father said, son, each time you get this urge, I want you to go out to the backyard and I want you to see this wooden fence and I want you to hammer a nail through it. So the son got the urge and yonder he goes, he nails a nail into the wood. That urge comes again and he hammers another nail into the wood. It went from 1 to 10 to 50. He goes to his dad, he said, Dad, I still have this urge. So the father said, next time you have this urge, I want you to go to the gate. And I want you to pull each nail out. So the urge comes again, and he goes to that gate and he pulls a nail out one by one. Finally, there, he gets to the last nail. And he says his urge is not there no more. So he goes to his father and he's excited. He says, Dad, I don't feel like cussing no more. So his father said, come here, son. See, I want to show you something. So he takes him in the backyard and he says, look at this gate. And tell me, what do you see? He said, Father, I see a gate with nothing but holes in it. So the father said, yes, son. See, that gate will never be the same because of mark you left on it. See, sometimes we can leave an everlasting mark on people. And the mark that Sister Fletcher placed on me yesterday was an everlasting assurance that I trust nothing but God. Oh, I'm trying to reach for that mansion, robe, and crown. I see a fellow preachers in the audience, and I just want to thank them for coming out. I see Brother Fred Williams and his wife, Sister Tracy, coming out. I've been knowing Brother Fred for a long time. He actually came out, him and his wife, when I preached my first sermon in 2008. And I'm so thankful for him. And I'm so thankful for my other brother in the gospel, Brother Jason Wiley and his wife. I'm just so thankful for him and his ministry. I think he's the most happiest preacher I ever met. Never seen him get mad. I want us to also to keep Brother Junior in prayer, that he fully recuperates from his surgery. Well, I better get to my text, because Brother Dale, the first one we printed out was 12 pages, so we condensed it to 9. If you have your Bibles, I'm just joking. If you have your Bibles, turn with me to Luke chapter 15. Just a few verses. I try to go a little faster, but it's a few verses. I kind of want us to get the whole context of the message.
Yes.
Luke chapter 15, we'll start at verse 11. And he said, a certain man had 2 sons. The younger of them said, Father, give to me the portions of good that fall to me. And he divided them his living. Not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey to a far country, and there wasted his substance on righteous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in the land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and sent him into his fields to feed the swines. And he would have fain filled his belly with the husks that the swines did eat, and no man gave to him. And when he came to himself, he said, how many hired servants of my father have enough bread to spare, and I perish with hunger?
Yes.
And I will arise and go to my father, and I will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and I am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him.
Yes.
And his son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and I am no more worthy to be called thy son. But thy father said to his servant, bring forth the best robe and put on him. Bring the ring and put on his hand and shoes on his feet. And bring hither the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this is my son was dead and alive again, and was lost and is found. And they began to be merry. Now his older son was in the fields, and when he was came, drew nigh to the house, and heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said unto him, thy brother is come. Thy father hath killed the fatted calf, because he had received him safe and sound. And he was angry, and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him. And answering said to his father, Lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgress I at any time thy commandments. And yet thou never gave me a kid, that I may make merry with thy friends. But as soon as thy son was come, which devoured thy living with harlots, thou hast killed for him the fatted calf. And he said unto his son, thou art ever with me, all that I have is thine. And it was meet that we should make and marry, and be glad. For this is our brother, was dead and is alive again, was lost and is found. The title of this sermon is Dance with My Father Again. Dance with my Father again. Here you have Jesus give his apologia, his answer. Oh, you know that's 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15. The Bible says, but sanctify the Lord in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asks you the reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear. Jesus gives a reason for these parables, because the scribes and the Pharisees mumbled, complaining, saying, this man receiveth sinners and eat with him. The definition of that word receive is to give access to one, companionship and hospitality. But if they truly realized what they were saying and who they were talking about when they said this man, Jesus said in Luke chapter number 4 and verse 18, for the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he had anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recover the sight of the blind, and set them on liberty that are bruised. Jesus gives 3 parables dealing with loss and redemption. He starts off with the lost sheep. The man leaves the 99 and goes, gets the lost 1 sheep. Jesus knew that his crowd, being Jews, know how God values sheep. Oh, turn with me to Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 11 and 12. I hope you guys brought your Nikes on this morning. We can just go run through some few scriptures. Or if you don't have your Nikes, you can put on your Reeboks and just pump it up. Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 11 and 12. For thus saith the Lord God, behold, I, even I, will both search my sheep and seek them out, as the shepherd seek out his flock in the days that he's among his sheep that are scattered. So will I seek out my sheep and deliver them from all the places that have been scattered out. in that dark and cloudy day. Shepherds are responsible for each sheep which goes astray. It's up to the good shepherd to find what is lost. See, Jesus knew that the crowd, being Jews, know how God was considered to be a good shepherd. The Jews knew how to identify what a good shepherd looked like. But don't be like my younger brother. See, when we grew up in LA, we used to raise pit bull mix, right? And when my younger brother was young, my mama dressed him up for Halloween as a shepherd. And one of his classmates asked him, "What are you supposed to be?" He said, "I'm a shepherd mixed with a pit bull." He had the mindset of a wrong shepherd. Isaiah chapter 40 and verse number 11. The Bible says, "He shall feed his flock like a shepherd. He shall gather all the lambs with his arms and carry them in his bosoms. And he shall gently lead them who are lost with the youngs." The second parable, the lost coin. The woman having 10 pieces of silver loses one. The woman had to do something. She had to clean up her house and add some light. You'd be surprised what you can find in a clean house. Some things that was lost. Some things that was misplaced. See, the coin didn't just get up and astray like the sheep, but it can be misplaced in a dirty house. See, I know a little light will help a whole lot. Psalms 119 and 105, the Bible says, "Thy word is a lamp unto thy feet, a light unto thy path." The third parable, Jesus spoke of a young son requesting his inheritance from God. And everything the son demands was against the core values of the Hebrew society. In the early days of Israel, the laws of governing families from estate to state, from generation to generation, was very important and esteemed from the laws of Moses. The laws were to keep the lands from leaving their family heritage. It is very obvious that this younger son had no respect for the law or his father's. By any means of compassion, the son had none. The son was not the firstborn, and by requesting his inheritance was selfish and wrong. The son, according to the people that Jesus was speaking to, basically heard this: "Dad, I need my money." In other words, it's better off if you was dead. The fifth commandment was very important in governing law. Well, you know that's Deuteronomy chapter 5 and verse 16. The Bible says, "Honor thy father and mother, as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee, that in the days that thou might prolong thy life, it may go well with thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee." The father had every right to slap his son in the face and being disrespectful. Or you know that's Proverbs chapter 13 and verse number 24. "He that spareth the rod hated his son, and he that loved him chastised him many times." The village of the time of the prodigal son, everyone knew everyone's business. Sounds like us, don't it? Hey, didn't she leave her husband? Don't he smoke drugs? Didn't he lose his job? I said, it sounds like us, right? So the father could not cover his son's shame. And the people in the community, in the father's community, was expecting the father to do a public whooping of his son by slapping him in the face. But instead, the father divided the property and granted his son's request. The father giving in to his son shows a father weak among the people. To give in to a defiant young son was unheard of. But the father shows in this story of a loving father would rather be ridiculed by the public to disown his own son. The younger son gathered all together and left into a far country. The possessions that the boy had gathered by the father, he liquidated them, turning them to cash. Once the boy sold all that the father gave him, he went off into a far country. Now the Bible doesn't talk about the far country, but Jesus, knowing his audience was a Jewish audience, understood what that meant. That meant in a far country, a Gentile country. The Jewish culture would never associate with a Gentile person. But this, the Jewish boy not only dishonored his father, but he dishonored his culture and his faith. This was one of the worst things that the boy could have done. He spent all his money and now he was in need. But yet the boy at this time did not want to go home to his father. Because at that time he would have had to understand and realize what he did was wrong. So the boy got into a real bad rut. And he had to do something. he had to find him a job.
Right.
Now we can preach this lesson. Luke chapter 15. Let's start at verse 15. Dance with my father again. Father, give me what's mine. Because I'm ready to get mine and do what I want to do.
Well,
The Bible said the boy went on to a far country, spent all that he had. Now I'm by myself. The people I thought was my friends left me hanging. Because when I had a little bit, I was loved a little bit. Are you in Luke chapter 15 and verse 15?
Yes, sir.
What's verse 15 say?
And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into the fields of swine to feed swine.
Okay. When he joined himself, he had to glue himself with a person that's of a different background, a different belief. He had to compromise everything he was taught. Right. Oh, we have people in here. The Bible says, train up a child the way he should go, and when he's old, he shall not depart from it. But as soon as they get 18, Brother David, I feel I'm grown. Oh, why can't I go party with them? Oh, why can't I drink a little bit with them? So he had to glue himself with him. So the guy got so much of him, knowing who he was, knowing his culture, I'm going to put you in the pig pen. Now watch it, keep reading, we're going to break this down.
And he would have fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat.
Hold on. I'm seeing the pigs eating, and I'm saying to myself, man, that bacon sounds look good. All them pork chops look good. He's saying to himself, man, the pigs is eating better than me. How low can you go? Man, it was good at my daddy's house. But man, I'm in the pig pen. Cleaning and feeding pigs. Going against my core value or religion. But yet, I'm willing to compromise because I'm still holding on to something. I got this pride mentality. This self-denial mentality. Keep reading.
And no man gave unto him.
Man, I ain't giving you nothing. Oh man, you know when we drive and we see people with a sign, man, we'll turn our head quick. Oh man, we'll turn our head so quick. And I used to do that, right? And one time, Doc, I went to the gas station, I left my wallet. And I had to say, sir, can I borrow a couple of dollars? And he looked at me like I was a hustler. Until I got humbled. Because you don't know nobody's circumstances. But he said, no man would give him nothing. Keep reading.
And when he came to himself,
Hold on! He had to come to himself. Because at that time, he wasn't himself. See, the Bible says in 2 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 10, true repentance is godly sorrow. But worldly repentance brings death. See, that worldly repentance, man, I'm only sorry because I got caught. But you know what, Brother Ernie, I'm going to do it again. I just might do it again. Man, when he came to himself,
he said, how many hired servants of my fathers have bread enough to spare? And I perish here with hunger.
At my father's house. So if my father eating good, and I'm in my father's house, I'm going to eat good. But he didn't even go that route. He went to the servants. Man, the servants is eating good, and I'm in here struggling in the pig pen. But why am I in the pig pen? Because I chose to be in the pig pen. See, every now and then, when I was younger and I get in trouble, I will blame everybody else. Brother Ernie, I remember my mom used to say, she used to give strict directions. Brother Sadiq, well, I wasn't Brother Sadiq at that time, she would say, boy, don't cut that TV on, don't play that game, don't do this. The minute she leave, I did that. And my brother used to tell him, he used to snitch. My brother told him, and I would blame my brother. But it was my fault. My fault. Keep reading, brother.
I will rise and go to my father, and will say unto him.
See, now watch this. Watch this. The repentance already came when he came to himself. And he remembers sometimes every now and then we just got to come off our high horse and get down and remember just how good God been to us. Sometimes, man, we can have lockjaw and we don't want to give God the full praise and credit. He said, man, I'm going to rise and go to my Father. Keep reading.
And will say unto him,
And I'm going to tell him something.
Father,
Father,
I have sinned against heaven and before thee.
now watch this. You know why he had to say that? I'm going to show you why. See, the sin that the son committed to the Father wasn't just between the Son and the Father. It was a public sin. See, it's a difference between me just sinning Brother Robert, between us in private. I can go to him and ask forgiveness. But if I sin, if it's a Brother Robert and everybody saw it, that's a public sin. Because everybody knew everybody's business. Even the older son knew what the younger son did, right? Keep reading.
And I am no more worthy to be called thy son.
Watch this, man. See, this is what the devil will do to us. Man, we'll feel so bad at what we've done, and then we'll feel so less worthy than who we are. We'll feel more worthless than the penny would hold in it. He said, man, I'm not even worthy to be called your son. I just got to get another text. You can figure there, somebody get Hebrews chapter number 8 and verse number 12, I believe that is. Because the son said, he asked for forgiveness, sincerely. He messed up. I'm going to go back home. I'm going to go to my father. But then he said, I'm not worthy. Keith, are you there? Somebody there? Yes, sir. Hebrews chapter 8 and verse number 12, what does it say?
For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness and their sins and their iniquities. Will I remember no more.
See, once we ask for forgiveness, God ain't gonna dangle that on over our head. But we'll do that. But you know, brother, you know, I'll forgive you, but you know, you still only had $20. Keep reading. Where you at?
Make me as one of thy hired servants.
He said, I'm not worthy to be your son. I'd rather be a hired servant. I remember when I drifted off. I used to go to Crenshaw Church of Christ, Brother Ernie. I used to walk up to the building. I used to go there Monday through Sunday, just to hang around with these brothers. I used to get them tapes, and I used to memorize all them tapes. I used to have so much stuff in my head. But then when I went to my far country, and I used to say to myself, man, I'll just go there, if I can just go there and just vacuum the cars, clean the bathroom, take out the trash. Man, I'll be satisfied. But see, we don't understand, man, when God forgives us and restores us, man, He gonna hook us up. Sometimes we want to shortchange ourselves. Oh man, everybody know what I did, so I'm gonna sit in the back. No, I'm gonna sit up in the front, and I'm gonna show you what God did. Keep reading, brother.
And he arose and came to his father.
So hold on. So when he arose, see, sometimes we can just say some stuff. We can sit in their pews and we can say, man, brothers and sisters, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change. But you know what? I ain't got up. I ain't getting no action. I'm just talking. I'm just a talker. I'm not a doer. The Bible says he arose, he got up, so he had to leave that pig pen. He had to leave that far country. I have to drop that bottle. I have to start lighting it up. I have to let some things go. Keep reading, brother.
But when he was yet a great ways away off, his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck.
Now the father in that picture seemed like that's what the son should have did to him. But that shows you how much love the father had for his son. See, I know from the eyes of the public, you embarrassed me. I know that I should be ashamed of you. But see, I love you so much because I knew the circumstance that you was in. What it was doing to you. What it was doing to our relationship. But I'm so glad that you rose up and got up and came to me. Now I'm going to show you how much I forgive you. I'm going to show you how much you mean to me. I'm going to show you how much I love you. So I'm going to lift up my pants leg exposing my ankles. Because in the Jewish culture, that's a shame. But I'm going to do it anyway. Right. Because if I can lift up my pants legs, I can run faster too. Yeah. And I'm going to hug you and I'm going to kiss you. Yeah. Even though you smell bad. Yeah. Even though you look bad. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm not worried about that, son. I'm more worried about your soul. Yeah. Yeah. Keep reading, brother. Yes, sir.
And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son.
You ask forgiveness again. Yes. You're saying, Dad, I'm really sorry, Daddy. I ain't worthy to be called your son, Daddy. Mm-hmm. See, I rehearsed my repentance. Mm-hmm. I put some action to it. And then when I saw you, I meant it. Mm-hmm. But look what did Daddy do? You read.
But the father said to his servants, bring forth the best robe and put it on him.
Hold on. Now see, I mean something. Mm-hmm. I used to drive real fast over that speed bump. And boom, boom. And I'm missing it. And I'm missing it. The son said, Father, I'm no more worthy to be called your son. Yes. Make me one of your servants. But the father said, servant, bring forth one of the best robes. Right. Yeah. See, that's restoring him. Right. That's showing authority. Right. Because now you're in a position of family again. Right. You see what I'm saying? Because the servants is not going to get the best of the robe. See, once you have that robe on, now that identifies you as you're part of the family again. Yeah. Not only to me and your son, but to the servants and to the community. Yeah. Put on the best robe. Then he says what?
And put a ring on his hand.
Put a ring on his hand.
And shoes on his feet.
Now, a ring on his hand, it identifies this is legit. This is legit, son. I got a robe on you. I got the ring on you. Yes. Now we're going to put some shoes on your feet, son. Yeah. Because the shoes on the feet, the servants don't get that. Yeah. Son, I'm going to restore you to as you never left. Yeah. Now keep reading.
And bring hither the fatted calf.
The fatted calf, that's something too deep too. Because this calf right here was fed separate from the other calves. True. Because we want to fatten this calf up for a special celebration. That's right. A special wedding festival. So the father felt, son, I'm letting you know this means so much to me. Yeah. Because you was lost. And now you found. Yeah. You was dead and now you're alive, son. Yes, so now we're going to celebrate. Yeah. Keep reading and watch this.
And kill it. And let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to be merry.
Keep reading and watch this.
Now his elder son was in the field.
Whoa, hold on. The elder son. We're going to talk about this elder son. The elder son was at a gospel meeting. The elder son was at a leadership meeting.
Was in the field.
Hold on, the elder, he was at a potluck.
He was in the field.
Hold on, he was somewhere, right?
He was in the field.
Keep reading. Well,
he came and drew nigh to the house. He heard music and dancing.
Wait a minute. He heard some music. And some dancing. He heard some people singing. I can just imagine in my spiritual mind that the young son, by him being restored, want a song lead now. My God is real. For he has washed and made me whole. His love for me is just like pure gold. See, my God is real. Who's that singing? Him? Keep reading, watch this.
And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said unto him, thy brother is come. Thy father hath killed the fatted calf, because he hath received him safe and sound.
Now watch this. You gonna let that brother get up there and song lead? You gonna let that brother get up there and do the main prayer? Well, I just can't do it. I won't do it. Remember the Bible said the son was in the field. Yeah. He was working. The Bible says there's a way that seems right to a man, but therein way is destruction. That's true. See, when we lean to our own understanding, man, we mess some things up. Man, the older son, that seasoned Christian, was mad. He was mad at his younger brother. Not only was he mad at his younger brother, he was mad at everybody else, especially his dad. But watch what happened.
And he was angry and would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him. And he answered, said to his father, Lo, this many years do I serve thee, neither transgressed I at any time thy commandments, and yet thou never gavest me a kid that I might go and make merry with my friends.
Watch this. The older son was so upset that he would not go in. See, the title of the sermon is Dance with My Father Again, right? Yeah. I want you to catch this. See, it's a time, let me just put some scripture to it. Go with me to Jeremiah 31 and 13. The younger son went out, he messed up, he slipped and he failed. Brother David, while Brother Robert is trying to find those scriptures, can you get for me Galatians chapter 6 and verse number 1? See, when the older son was at that gospel meeting, the lectureship all day, and came back to the building to turn in his keys. And when he heard the music and he seen people celebrating and realized it was his brother, the older brother should have did something a long time ago if he truly loved his brother. Are you in Galatians chapter 6 and verse number 1?
Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted.
Right. See that? So that tells me that the older brother really didn't have love for his younger brother. Saw him being overtaken in a situation. Greed, pride, lustfulness. But yet, he did nothing. Well, how do I know that the older brother knew where the younger brother was at? Because he told his father, your son spent this with harlots. Well, how'd you know? Because it was a far country. How do you know? If the Jews didn't mess with the Gentiles, how do you know? Well, that showed me that the older brother was struggling with some things himself. See, it's always easy to throw rocks at somebody. Oh, I knew a sister in the church, an older sister. She's like a surrogate mother to me. And she has Brother Ernie about 6, 7 kids. She's a good mother, older lady, a surrogate mother to me. We had a younger sister that came in. She got about 6 kids, right? And she kind of dressed a little risky every now and then. And so the older sister comes to me, she's like, Brother Sadiq, I just can't see why this young girl dressed like that, all these kids, stuff like that. And I'm looking at her kind of cockeyed, like, well, sister, you got a lot of kids yourself. The Bible said the older woman to teach the younger woman how to love. But sometimes, how soon we forget. Oh, that's Psalms 106:21. How they forgot God. The older son should have went to go help restore his brother. But yet he was mad when they were singing and dancing. Did you get Jeremiah? Give me no time, guys? Okay, Jeremiah 31 and 13. The Bible says what? Because I just want to make clear, it's okay to sing and dance. And if you can dance with your father, that's the best type of dancing.
Then shall the virgins rejoice in the dance, both young men and old together, for I will turn their mourning into joy, and I will comfort them, and I will make them rejoice from their sorrow.
So when I'm feeling bad, and in some deep, deep, deep sorrow. And God turned that into some joy. Man, it's all right for me to dance, right? And I'm dancing with him. Now, I'm not doing the funky chicken or nothing, but I'm dancing right, right? No, I'm not going to twerk in my brother. I'm not going to do that. Ecclesiastes chapter number 3 and verse number 4. The youngest son realized I got too low. I was in a bad situation. I was beat up. I was tore up from the floor up. And when I came to myself, my daddy hugged me and he kissed me. And I realized how sweet that amazing grace was. That saved a wretch man like me. A beat up, messed up man like me. See, once you understand grace and you understand mercy, see, mercy is what God should have gave you. Man, I should have left you in that pig pen. Should have let you rock that pig pen. But I'm going to give you some grace. That's God giving you what you shouldn't have got.
That's true.
Man, he would kiss me on my neck. And he hugged me, and I'm telling you, I didn't deserve it. Because God was the furthest thing from my mind. All I wanted to do was please myself and do what I wanted to do. And he put a best robe. He put some shoes on my feet. A ring on my finger. Giving out the fatted calf. Are you in Ecclesiastes chapter 3? And verse number 4? What does it say?
A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance.
It's time. Is it your time this morning? Is it your time to dance with your father again? Again means to go back. I want us to remember how good it was in our Father's house. Amen. But Brother Sadiq, you don't understand, man. I come from a dysfunctional family and things and issues, and it's hard for me to admit some things and stuff. Man, I was from a dysfunctional family. Man, I remember at the age of 4, could have been 3, I woke up to the most uncomfortable screaming, crying, begging for mercy. I'm laying on the couch, and my grandmother who's watching me is laying on the floor, made a pallet, and her boyfriend is laying next to her. My auntie's in the back. This guy comes in with the shovel, and he starts beating my grandmother's boyfriend. So he eventually kills him, but he looks at me and he puts a finger on his mouth and told me to be quiet. And I'm seeing the blood all over my grandmother's face. And every now and then, when I try to block this stuff out of my mind, I feel like I was a coward. So don't tell me about dysfunctional family. I know about dysfunctional family. So I grew up with that mindset. Hard for me to shout. Always want to hold back. But once you understand, it's a time to mourn. It's a time to weep. But right now is your time to dance. While the blood is running warm through your veins.
That's right.
Are you in your far country? Or maybe your far country, you're not loving your wife like you should. You're not respecting your husband like you should. Maybe your far country is alcohol. Maybe your far country is substance abuse. Maybe your far country, you're not giving like you should, loving like you should, studying like you should. See, the older son's mindset wasn't about soul winning. But yet we say, I love to praise him. And all it becomes is lip service.
Yes, sir.
Man, I'm trying to dance with my father. I'm tired of suffering. I'm tired of being beaten up and broken and bruised. I want to be restored and have a keep looking at my watch, and my watch don't even work. Look at that clock. I'll make my point. I'll make my last point. All right. I'll make my last point. I know we got a lot of meetings going on today. I want you to catch this. When you get restored, just like all three parables, when the man lost that one of the 99, first thing he did, he got home and he called his friends, and it was a celebration. I'm excited. Yeah. Yes. A woman lost her coins, called her friends, excited. When the son came home, the daddy do a party, excitement.
Yes.
But you know what? You will have some people that ain't gonna be excited as you. You will have some people that don't care that you've been restored. Right. But don't let that discourage you.
Amen.
Come out that far country.
That's right.
Get out that pig pen. Come home and let the daddy hug you and kiss you on your neck. It's time. It's time.
Amen.
If you're not a member of the Lord's church, you're in a far country. And in order to come out that far country, there's some things that you must do. Right. You must hear the word. Right. After you hear the word, you must believe the word. After you heard the word and believe the word, you must repent. After you repent, you must confess Jesus Christ is the Son of the living God.
Amen.
And after we take your confession, we can immerse your body into the water. Until that watery grave. So when you come up, you'll come up out of that far country and be clothed by your Father.
Yes.
And he'll place that ring of the Holy Spirit on you, that seal on you. Then you can put on the full armor of God, that belt of truth, that'll hold you up, that breastplate of righteousness, being right in the sight of God. See, it's easy to pretend when we're around here. Oh man, we'll sing the songs. Oh man, we'll close our eyes, pretend like we're praying for somebody, but we're thinking about how long that line gonna be when Brother Sadiq get through our sisters. It's easy to pretend here. See, I used to get kind of uncomfortable when people fall asleep on me. But I don't even worry about that because I seen a brother, he was asleep doing scripture reading. So, I don't bother me no more.
Oh, have mercy.
Don't bother me no more. See, people in here with different agendas.
Yeah, that's right.
But my agenda, I want to dance with my Father.
Amen.
Even though I feel I got no rhythm. But long as I'm in his hands, and long as I follow him, he gonna show me how to two-step.
Amen.
That's right.
After you're baptized, Acts 2 and verse 47, you're added to the church. You're added to the church that Jesus built.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's it.
But yet, if you need to be restored, you've been away from that far country, you know you haven't been giving your all to God. You know you could have been doing better. You know there's certain members that you haven't seen, and you know that God has put on your mind, call, encourage them. You know you could have been studying more, praying more, and yet you choose to do it. Come on down, get restored, and ask the church to pray for you. Now, one thing I can honestly say, La Puente is a praying church. But won't you come on and ask the strength so you can work on your prayer life better yourself? Have you been displaying the gospel to your co-workers, your classmates? If not, come on out of that far country. If you've been like the older son, had this braggadocious mindset, just because God blessed you with some physical things, you think you can look down on people. Oh, you know what happened to Nebuchadnezzar, all right?
Yes,
Man, I'm going to put you in there and you're going to eat cattle. That's right. Eat with the cattle, eat this grass. God will humble you.
Yes, sir.
It needs to be humble. If you like the older son and you got no compassion for your fellow brother in the church, or your fellow mankind, a soul. For the fruit of the righteous is the tree of life. He that winneth souls is wise. When that trumpet sounds and that cloud rolls back,
Yes, sir.
But when that cloud rolls back and that trumpet sounds, you in that far country, it's too late. So while the blood is running warm through your veins, see, I'm gonna rise up and I'm gonna go to my Father. And we gonna dance again.
Amen.
Thank you.
Restore my spirit.